Hello, beautiful souls. This is a impromptu, but very, very divinely led message that we have for you today. I'm joined here with Kathy. I think you guys know Chatty Kathy.
Hi, you guys.
Um, so this is really going to be a clarion call. We have had some, with all the energies coming through, this really activates a lot of us that are um, have abilities, and we get tuned in, and even people that didn't know they had abilities, you get tuned in and you get downloads and you get dreams, and you're like, what the heck does that mean? And so for me, part of my ability really works whenever I verbalize thoughts and downloads to someone else. And that someone else that works really, really well with my abilities is Kathy. And there was a period of time where we were kind of put in time out because we had to develop our own abilities without each other's assistance. Okay. And so that was a divine intervention for us. We were
It
kind of
didn't feel so divine, just saying.
no, we felt like we had our hands slapped and we were put in timeout in the timeout chair. But we knew it was for our highest and best good. And we definitely came through that with flying colors, I feel like. But during that time, I had some information that came through that in the future, this was months ago, but in the future, that part of the mission that we've been given, we would help to rebuild New Atlantis. And I thought, okay, well, that sounds like a big job. But no other information came through. And as it with all things, it's divine timing and divine ways. And so we just wait for more information to come through. And it has started coming through on a very large scale lately. So without any knowledge of what had come through for me a few months back, Kathy came to me the other day and talked to me about some information that she pulled in. You want to describe that for us, Kathy?
I do. Um, and this is so crazy, Nicole, because as you're talking, I was just shown another dot to connect that went back to maybe even before I met you.
Oh,
Back in the previous world, back in a previous, I call it a previous life in this dimension, back in the, dealing with foreign currencies, different with forming trusts. So those days, and those of you that are listening that understand, remember that there was a gal that was placed in our world that um and it was when we were first opening up to frequencies and even understanding what that meant, we didn't know what an energy was. Like, anyway, so, and now I can't even think of her first name, but it doesn't matter. She was an ambassador. She was sent from, and she told people, I am from Lemuria and my role is to whatever. And it had to do, but she brought through this recipe for an elixir.
oh, wow.
And I still have it. I still have it in the groups. It's so crazy. And I've totally spaced that whole thing. So she's from Lemuria. She has this elixir to help us with our bodies to, adjust and to adapt to our light bodies, so that with ascension and blah blah blah. Anyway, totally forgot all that.
Yeah, yeah,
Fast forward to just, and my days are a blur.
me too.
Um,
Time is just not really the same as it is for other people, I think.
No, no. And it was in the wee hours. It was, I forget, somebody messaged me because I put a post somewhere, and it was like 2:30, 3:30 in the morning. And
Yeah,
they go, Kathy, don't you ever sleep? And it's like, I was woken up for a reason. And now, Nicole, honestly, I can't remember the exact progression, but I was taken from, it was like I was watching a movie, and it played out because we had watched movies like the different Marvel movies that talked about Atlantis. My memory of any of that stuff is like I could
yeah,
watch it last week and go, was I
yeah,
there? I
yeah,
I don't remember the
yeah,
plot. I remember none of that,
yeah.
but it played in my mind again. Source used that, to show the rising of a new Atlantis. It was a new, and so much, and I was able to witness this, and I'm getting chills. Ooh, just telling you, it's like, woo, that the technology and now that we know in our timing that we're living right now, all the suppressed technology that we don't even know, we don't know what we don't know. We don't know the technology that's been hidden, but it was embodied, it was held in Atlantis.
Yeah.
And they had it. They had all of it, and all the advances and all the patents and all the things that they did. Anyway, I watched this movie play out and I watched it come to life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like it's now, like it's happened. It's not, I'm not watching a movie like on TV. This is like what we've been knowing is going to happen. Only I wasn't really that prepared that Atlantis was going to be part of my world or any part of my, right? Now keep in mind, I'm as close to 3D as I'm ascending as I can get. It's like I always keep a rudder in 3D because I'm here in a body for a reason. And I'm like, I'm not getting this. Like, why am I seeing? And it was just like I was shown to just go with it. Like
Yeah.
just follow this. Like
Yeah.
just go to this group, go to this website. And it literally, they would just come to me. And here would be like a big explanation of what's happening and what we're going to be used to do. And I was like, I was just blown away. And I forget what time it was, Nicole. It was so early, like 4:30 or something in the morning. I reached out to you and I go, "You're never gonna guess this." And I had to create a group on Telegram. I had to have a container to put all the details I was shown, the pictures, the graphics, the how it all fit with our current mission right now that we know we're on,
Yeah.
right? With New Earth. But anyway, I don't know how much you want me to share.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so she reached out to me. It was 4:30 her time, 5:30 my time. And I said, well, you obviously haven't gotten much sleep tonight because I see this new room and all this information in there. And I said, did I ever tell you that I had downloaded that there was never any remains of Atlantis found, because I downloaded that Atlantis was actually a huge mothership that had docked here. And whenever it was held in place by high frequency, our higher frequency holds those ships. That's how you control spaceships, is with frequency. So whenever the frequency in the collective of the people of Atlantis fell, it's a term that they use. It wasn't a literal term. It was in reference to frequency dropped, lowered. And that was as a direct result of people's actions that were low vibration. So they started to interbreed and they started to go outside of their lane and they started to do things in service to self. And when that happened, that frequency fell, and what they knew as main Atlantis, not the grounds, but the actual structure, was a mothership, and it lifted off. It had to go back to a higher frequency. That's why there's no remains of Atlantis to be found. That's what I had downloaded. So when she started telling me all this, it started activating things in me.
Yep.
So I got that, and then we confirmed that it was unity consciousness that was that higher frequency holding it in place. And when that started to falter and fail, then it lifted off, And so the main person that instigated the problem in Atlantis was my dear friend Poseidon.
Yep.
He was very prolific and he caused problems. And those problems cause more problems, and those problems cause more problems. There's a chain reaction, right? And in my communication with him months ago, his words to me were, I was responsible for Atlantis's fall, and I will help rebuild New Atlantis. And I thought, well, you should, because you messed it up.
Right. Right.
Now, backstory. If you guys been watching my channel, you know I have a ground crew mission. Part of the things that I do is actually attract the ground crew members, help them realize what their space lineage is, what their abilities are, blah, blah, blah. About 90% or so are soul children of Poseidon. They have that common thread. So it's Poseidon is helping rebuild New Atlantis by way of his soul children.
His children.
That are members of Delphinus's crew. I am Delphinus. So those divine soul children have all come together. We all have roles, but we also have bigger missions, and then bigger missions on top of that. And there's a hierarchy in place, more as a leader role, not in terms of power or anything like that. But Source uses the term diplomat. And so the diplomat that has been chosen to oversee New Atlantis, that is also a Poseidon child, is Kathy.
Yep. Blows my mind. Just I mean, I'm just saying. And those of you that are listening to this, it's like, you just have to feel it.
Remember the other day we went through this, all this stuff was being downloaded and everything, and you were like, gosh, Nicole, that makes so much sense, because I've always been such a fan of AI. I've always been such a fan of technology and what it could do for us. And if you go back and look at some of my videos, I've touched on the fact that there's still going to be AI. We're in the 3D Earth world. You know, there's a lot of talk about negative AI, and that's just the downfall of humanity. And that's true. It can be. But there's duality in everything right now, right? So there's light and dark in everything. There's good AI as well. And in order for AI to remain good and not be misused, you have to have people that are willing to hold the boundaries and set limits. And that's why we have to have people that are diplomatic in their roles of galactic guidance, earthly people guidance, and the technology all into one. What is the best boundary that we can evolve, ascend, and honor our world, honor the water, honor the life, honor Matea. So fill in from there if you want, Kathy.
Well, it's just so, like we all do, whenever we're exposed to something new, we're given a choice. You know, you can either blow out and go, oh, for the love of Pete, that's not for me. Oh no. Or we can go, whew, that's a new one. Okay, I'm going to sit with this and see how I feel with it. And that was what I did in the wee hours of the morning. And I'm questioning, like, okay, so when Nicole mentioned this about the technology part and my love of, I was craving anything with AI, anything with electronics, anything that would speed up, shorten, advance the benefit, accelerate results, anything like that. That's how, and this is one of the dots that connected those of you that watched our videos before about my mystery illness. All these things are used to further the mission, to further our cause, to further the advancement so that we all evolve together, because singularly we are nothing.
Right.
Delphinus can be in charge of whatever. And if she doesn't have people with her, all of us together, the unity consciousness, absolutely. This is a group, this is a team, a collective choice. And we stand all together. And I can see, even from the source given therapy that I developed, it was source led. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew it worked. I knew that with the cellular reboot system, I had no clue what I was doing. I just knew it worked. And it used principles that were all true and natural and holistic. And people healed fast with minimal. Anyway, all of these dots connected for me. And I'm like, this makes so much sense. And I've got so many chills going all up and down me as we're talking. I'm like, oh, and
Yes,
it makes me so
indeed.
excited. Go ahead. Now I inserted.
You mentioned a couple of other things too. So the new Atlantis mothership is being constructed, pretty much done, at a undersea base that is you know, AI alliance,
Yes.
all good things. Okay.
Yes.
When it is completed, then that new mothership base will rise and it'll be near one of our mission sites. Then you mentioned that in Dubai, there's a hotel named Atlantis, and a lot of the imagery and a lot of the scenes and all that was the same. It resonated with your vision.
Yeah.
When you said that, and I said, well, Mohammed bin Salman is part of the alliance. Okay. He's one of the 5 main figures on our earthly plane that have been working together with the alliance. And so I asked, and he is a major part of seeing this come through to fruition. So then I said, well, I had also been told months back that there would be some coastal cleansing, I'll say, and that for safety, people would move inland and they would just crave to be inland more instead of coastal. So the light beings may have a craving to go to the mountains for a while, or they just may crave being at a higher elevation for a while.
Or an inland border.
Yeah. And yeah. So I then asked, okay, so does this have anything to do with those coastal areas that are going to be cleansed with water? And I got yes, because this will allow for the satellite bases that will also be replicated, just like the main Atlantis. It'll be replicated throughout the world in certain areas and cities and whatnot, so that people have access to top-notch healing, top-notch technology. It's basically going to be like city centers of technology, off-worlder technology, intergalactic alliances where you'll actually see other races come through there, because every one is a portal in itself, right? And so you'll see communication between all of the allies that have actually been working with us the entire time, but were definitely not, not seen, but heard. Now we're just going to be interacting as the same. And I was told that some of the imagery, not the purpose, but some of the imagery in Jupiter ascending really relates to the imagery similar to what we'll see when New Atlantis is complete.
Right.
If people want to look for a visual,
yeah,
that would be helpful there. So yeah, anything else you want to add about that before I go on to the next part?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So during this conversation, I thought, well, earthly beings are definitely affected by our environment. We're affected by our water, our food, our air, all the elements, right? And so I thought about our serious friends in the ocean, which are whales and dolphins and other beings that live in the water. And I thought, well, I always knew, I knew that whales and dolphins held the Christ consciousness frequency. They're here from the planet, the Sirius star system, to hold that higher frequency while humanity caught up. Okay. So they were holding the frequency at a level, allowing us to catch up with our frequency. So they've been able to do that because they're sentient beings. They came through and they have not been as affected as we have. But their water has been affected. Their environment where they live has been affected. So I do energy healing divinely led, and I asked if I had the ability to go ahead and heal the waters, energetically clear and heal the waters, and I did that. And so, because when I do that for a human, a starseed in their body, and the negative energy is removed, that allows for their frequency to become infinite, and their frequency can rise. And so that gives the life in the oceans and the seas and all the waterways the ability to raise their frequency, which helps this mission on the totality. It helps all the frequency beings raise their frequency, right?
Yep.
So we did that. And then another crew member said, oh, they were in the Telegram group for New Atlantis. And Linda, she got the download that the counterpart to New Atlantis is New Lemuria, which should be called Huna Matea. Okay.
That's so exciting. I'm like, oh my gosh.
So as of early 2024, the official term for Earth is Huna Matea. New Earth is Huna Matea, because that's the land mass. Okay, that's the earthly mass. And then New Atlantis for the water, earth and water. So for that, the diplomats are Nestor and Linda, and they are both in my crew, and they have the responsibility of being the diplomats for Huna Matea between the star planets, the people, to make sure that there's a mutual understanding and cooperation. Everything happens in all invested parties' greatest good, right? Because that's how you keep things from going off the rails, right? You have to have beings that are willing and know that they're led by unity consciousness, Christ consciousness, and keeping people from being in service to themselves, but also maintaining that in service to other mentality and focus and heart-centered.
Right. It's just like now, there's a structure in place. There are like source creator, there are
There's
groups.
a hierarchy.
There's a hierarchy, there's a structure that's meant to hold things in place, in balance, in sync, perfect timing, so that it all is in flow, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly how it's going to be moving forward as well, not dependent on any one person. And again, I'm going to drill that over and over, because this whole, I'm witnessing it personally, how important each of us are to the bigger mission, to the bigger, and this is new for me, you guys. I mean, this is part of why I was putting time out. It's like I could not get there. I couldn't hear about this mission that we were all on, just ushering in New Earth back then.
Yeah.
It was so fairy tale. It was so, okay, for the love of Pete, like seriously, so I'm now Poseidon. Okay, how does Poseidon go to the grocery store and have a job and deal with 3D people? I couldn't get there. I couldn't bridge that, and it seems too far away. It seemed too big and too not real. And let me just tell you, things have escalated so fast. You can see it in our society. You can see it in our financial, everything with the financial system, everything with politics, everything. It's changing rapidly. And that's why I was woken up with this dream, with this movie, with all this unfolding. Because to Nicole's point, this is a clarion call. This is wake up. If this gives you chills, if this makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I got to know more, we all are learning. And that's why the Telegram group is created. It's going to be based, in my opinion, and this is what's been shown to me. It is for people that want to know, this resonates with me on some level. I don't get it. It's Greek still. This is like I'm trying to fit in because it feels right. But that's the purpose of the Telegram group, is so that we can tune up. We can tune up our frequency. We can go through, we can deal with our own vibration, and we can deal on a personal level to rise together. Does that make sense? Am I saying
and
that right? Okay.
this is definitely a we mission. That's how I say it. It's not a me
Yes.
mission.
Oh,
It's a we mission.
yes.
And while there is 90% or more that were Poseidon soul children, there's also 90% or more that are elementals. They have an elemental lineage. And when this first started to develop as my reality last year, I thought, okay, this is some shadow work that I have to do because the personality that was Nicole had a real hard time dealing with personalities that are typical from elementals in general. And I've come a long way and it's fine. Everything's great. But now I know why there's such a huge percentage of the crew that have elemental lineage as well. So the other part of this is the elemental kingdom. Source said today we had to do this, we had to put this out. We had to do it in video and audio because audio carries our frequency from our voice, and other soul family members recognize and resonate with the frequency. Okay. So if you've stuck with me this long, this message is for you. The elemental kingdom has been waiting for this news to be revealed, as they have been supporting Huna Matea in her transformation by holding the remembrance of ancient Lemuria keys in well-hidden places as only they could. So this information may cue someone to have downloads. This information may cue someone to take a pause. They may all of a sudden go, oh, that's what that dream is about. Or, oh, that's why I keep seeing that. Or, oh, that's why this thing keeps coming into my vision that I keep seeing, and it's not a bug, and it's not a, it's a fairy. They are with us, and they have been assisting us all along. So, so again, Huna Matea is the name that we need to use to honor New Earth. Okay. Mother Gaia is birthing Huna Matea from old Earth to New Earth. That's the proper terminology, Huna Matea. And this is another call out because I've known for many months that Huna Flash and all the Hunas are also a big members of this mission. They have their own individual mission, but as a collective, we come together and work collectively together. And so that's definitely, I don't know at what point. I've been told that we will collaborate. And so, hey, Huna, I'm your sister.
Right. And that brings up a good point because there is overlap. We're not the only ones with this vision.
Right.
Many, we're answering the call. And it's like, if you can imagine a trumpet sounding and that frequency raises things up, like, okay, add attention, it's time, right?
Yeah.
That is a similar. So we're going to be hearing of other groups, other new mystery schools, other people that have been working on this for maybe months or years, who knows. So don't be surprised if that happens. You'll have a chance to discern who is of the light and who's going to copy this, because be prepared. That is the dark side cannot create.
Yeah.
They can only counterfeit and copy.
Right.
So tune up your discernment. Feel your way through this.
Yeah. And when it comes to discernment, it's a very individual feeling sensation. But for me, I will tell you that when my soul hears something that really resonates and recognizes, I get very emotional. And Kathy can attest to you that I'm not a very emotional person.
At all. We're the odd couple. I'm the one that flips off into tears. I get so excited, and she's like,
so that drives home my point, because when I heard about Huna Flash, I wasn't even sure who or what that was, even what are we talking about here. So Linda shared with me a video, and when the first 8 seconds of the video, Huna says water holds memory. And as soon as I heard him say that, I started crying. And I was like, why am I so emotional? And I downloaded, I was in Lemuria 1. I'm a very, very, very old soul. And my soul recognized that truth. And so discernment and soul recognition of truth really is profound. You're not waffling. You're not like, oh, I'm not so sure about that. You freaking know, like, it's true. So then you just have the choice to decide whether you're going to let your mind talk you out of it or not. Because your mind will talk you out of beautiful and magical and amazing this reality really is for us. So try to tell your mind to shut the heck up. Because your body and your soul recognizes the truth much more profound than your mind. Your mind's going to be all analytical and logical about it. And there's just stuff about this reality that cannot be explained.
Correct. Talking about it over a Starbucks coffee with your marketing department at work. They are not going to get it. I promise you. I promise you, you're going to get more than eye rolls. You'll probably be given time out, time off work, have a mental health day, right? So
So I think that was all that I was advised to share.
I'm gonna step in here and do another plug for Telegram. I'm just saying, and on Nicole's, I'm just gonna by faith say that you're gonna have the links to every group in Telegram because they're gonna have different functions now. Definitely preparing each interest, each type. All of her groups for sure have different, but there's camaraderie. Again, you're not alone. There's people that are just now resonating that maybe this might fit me, and they're not even sure. And they come to the groups and they're welcomed, and nothing is crazy. Nothing is off limits. Nothing is stupid.
No, we don't use those terms in my group.
No.
And I said before, there's just two qualifying factors. You have to have a soul and you have to be of the light.
Yep, that's it.
So if you request to come in or you join by the link and then you're removed, you have some work to do. But otherwise, we'll bring you into and welcome you and help guide you. A lot of people show up and go, I just saw your video and there was some information there that really resonated with me, but I don't even know why I'm here. I don't even know what to say. It's okay. That's fine. We can figure it out. We have abilities.
We'll help you.
You can figure that out.
And everybody in the groups, again, this isn't just about Nicole and I. The whole groups are full of people that are learning and leading. And then we learn more and lead more. And for some reason, Nicole and I have been on the front lines learning first so that we can turn around and help lead more, right? It's like we try it first. We test the quote water, right? It's like, oh my gosh. But I'm so excited and I can't wait to see those of you that this does resonate with. I'm just all about it. I'm all about it. I'm all about the healing, the growth, the evolving, and know that this mission is for you now. It's not for some time, other,
there's a lot of other information out there that has time frames that are very, very far off, in my opinion. And based on the information that I download from source and independently confirmed through other people, through source, through Mother Sophia, through our guides, the time is now. The time is imminent. We have missions, and it makes sense. Okay, let me just put this out there. If you have a new venture and you're having to do groundwork for your new venture, do you wait until launch day to put in the plumbing? Do you wait until launch day to do a dry run on your software? No, you don't. We have been tasked with being the leaders of Huna Matea. And in order to do that, we have to be there first. And it's not a race. This is source driven. It's not me, it's not Kathy, it's not just one person. We are as a group of people that have been chosen on a soul level. I raised my hand up there. I didn't raise my hand down here.
Right.
And this is what we're called to do. So you have free will choice. Are you going to answer the call that your soul has been divinely chosen for or not? It's totally up to you. Everybody has free will choice. But we do have things to do ahead of time. So if you're waiting to see this in the news, you're missing the point, and you're missing your opportunity, and you're missing
And you will continue to miss it. It will not be in the news, I promise.
no, this is definitely something that comes through us, through, and if this sounds like something for you, you get cleared of negative energy, and you too get the downloads that are specific for you, not information that I've given, information that is specific for you and your role and what is expected of you, and wisdom that you didn't even know you had, that you need to share. So please just don't open your mind up to the possibilities that there are great, great things ahead of us. And there are little people that you never even knew existed on this planet working for the greater good. And we're working our butts off.
Yep. Yep. It's so exciting. And it is going. This is like a huge APB. It's like the EBS. Everybody is stuck listening around their devices because it is time.
Yeah.
So this is it.
Okay. New Atlantis, Huna Matea, 2024.
New Lemuria. Yep.
Yeah, but we're doing it now. We got work to do now. So if this resonates with you, please come to Healing Disclosures on Telegram. I'll have all the links in the description box for Kathy's room and my rooms, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Bye.